As you go about your day in Hazleton, you might not be aware that police are watching you. Would a better view mean less crime in the city? Upgrading the surveillance system, our top story on News 13 at 4:30.
From the Samson Production Studios in the heart of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, it's your News 13.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Bazinski. Well, they see you when you least expect it. Stores all around Hazleton have them set up. Now, police want to place high-tech security cameras all over the city to help catch crimes and keep the streets safe. Christina Papa with more on what the city says will be the benefit of a watchful eye.
They're keeping an eye on the streets when your back is turned. They're surveillance cameras, and there may be more installed around the Hazleton area soon.
The chief wants to put in a police surveillance cameras.
Cameras already in place to help merchants in the area rely on motion-based recording technology for transmitting images. New equipment would also mean upgraded equipment.
Much more sophisticated, state-of-the-art, zoom-in lens, all-day recording.
The station already keeps a watchful eye on over 40 cameras around the area. These new cameras wouldn't take the place of old equipment, only help police capture more crimes in new areas.
Well, Alta Street was one of them. The chief thinks that that's a high crime area, and he's going to put cameras up there.
Cameras like this one located on Wyoming Street give the police station and store owners a bird's eye view of what's going on downtown. The mayor says more cameras would only benefit the city.
But we're going to also buy our cameras that one or two of them be mobile. We can put them anywhere, and that's the good part. We can put them by your house. We could put them on Broad Street. We could put them on Alta Street, wherever. We're going to put some permanent ones, but they will be surveillance cameras for the area.
Michael Murray works right on Broad Street. He says knowing the cameras are around make him feel comfortable, and placing more cameras in unannounced areas would be a great idea.
Very good thing to have the cameras on the street, you know, with the recent crime that's been going on in the area. And it makes you feel a sense of security.
The purchase of the camera system and recording equipment would be paid with $55,000 from the community development allocation from 2012 and approximately $30,000 from this year's allotment. Christina Papa, News 13, Hazleton.
A Mahanoy City man has been sentenced to up to 7 years in prison for killing a local high school teacher in a drunk driving accident. A Schuylkill County judge sentenced 40-year-old Edward OBoyle to 3.5 to 7 years in prison on homicide by motor vehicle charges. OBoyle admitted that he was drunk when he caused the accident in 2011 that left Jeff Donnelly of Barnesville dead. Donnelly was a teacher at Mahanoy Area High School. OBoyle will serve his sentence in a state correctional facility. The murder trial for 19-year-old man from Mahanoy City charged in a beating death began in Schuylkill County Court this morning. Prosecutors say that in April of last year, Jarvin Huggins got into the basement of 48-year-old Gene Slavinsky's home in Mahanoy City, lured him to the basement by turning the electricity on and off, and when Slavinsky went to investigate, beat him to death with a metal weight. Investigators say Huggins then took a laptop, some money, and stole the man's car. Huggins is facing criminal homicide, burglary, robbery, and a slew of other charges. Prosecutors aren't asking the death penalty, so if convicted, Huggins could spend the rest of his life behind bars. Well, shots fired on Main Street in Shenandoah started over a fight in front of a bar on Saturday night, and they're leaving a mark on the town. Police reports say that after a fight broke out in front of the Oyster Bar on Main Street, Jose Arroyo lifted his shirt and flashed a gun. Arroyo and one of the women in the fight ran down the street, and that's when Arroyo fired shots back in the direction of the bar. Now, witnesses who were there say there was more than one shot fired. A car parked in front of the building was shot at as well. People who live in the area say they're confused about the entire incident. They also say the area has gone pretty much downhill, and they're scared for their families.
Well, it's very common in the last, I'd say, couple of years. You never had this in Shenandoah, never, ever. You had minor things, but nothing like this. It's scary anymore. You have to lock your doors. You have to lock everything. You just can't do anything in this town anymore without locking everything up. It's just bad.
It's kind of unsettling, and I don't like my kids out if this is going to be happening. And they're not even from our town, so I mean, it's definitely not someone in town that would do that because we're like a close-knit town and everybody knows each other.
Now, nobody was injured in that shooting. Arroyo is in the Schuylkill County Prison. The investigation in Shenandoah is ongoing. Two men from Hazleton are under arrest for allegedly attacking a Wilkes-Barre police officer outside a downtown bar early Saturday morning. Police say 24-year-old Harali Rivas and 22-year-old Jeffrey Taveras were thrown out of the hardware bar in downtown Wilkes-Barre for fighting with other patrons. Even though police came into the bar to stop the disturbance, the two kept on fighting the patrons as well as bar staff. Now, police say once they got them outside, Taveras struggled and tried to escape. Then Rivas got into the struggle and pushed Wilkes-Barre detective Ralph Elick, yelled racial slurs and cursed at him, and then elbowed the detective to the face. Both were quickly taken into custody. They're both in the Luzerne County Correctional Facility tonight. Well, it was a touching tribute to the victim of a horrible tragedy. Thousands of people came out this weekend to pay their respects to fallen corrections officer Eric Williams at both his viewing and his funeral. There was a very somber mood in Nanticoke as police lined up outside the high school gymnasium this Friday evening to pay tribute and remember Williams. Some waited in line for almost 2 hours just to get the opportunity to get inside and give condolences. Many of those who came out were men and women from law enforcement agencies all across the United States. Officers from Connecticut, California, Washington, D.C., even Puerto Rico came to pay their respects to Williams' family and let them know that Eric will not be forgotten.
The support for our fallen comrade Eric. Everybody wants to come out and show support for him and his family, and let him know that in the end justice will prevail, and everything will work out for his family.
Williams was brutally beaten and stabbed multiple times at the federal prison in Wayne County just 1 week ago by an inmate. United States Attorney General Eric Holder gave the eulogy at his funeral in Nanticoke. His murder may result in federal prison guards being allowed to carry pepper spray as a weapon. And coming up on News 13, the snow they're talking about for later this week could just skate on by us. We'll have the latest on News 13 weather. And it's time now for our regional weather from the National Weather Service. Let's check the radar. A little bit of activity going on to our north. That's going to bring us perhaps a flurry or two. But the good news, the big storm that everybody's been talking about for a week now that might come on Wednesday, just might sneak on by us. Some good news. Creative Condition is Nothing But Blue Skies. That's by Jasmine Jimenez, a second grader at West Hazleton Elementary Middle School. And she drew a sunny day, perfect for getting outside and playing. And we are certainly looking forward to some of those. Now let's take a look at News 13 weather from the National Weather Service for Greater Hazleton. Tonight it'll be partly cloudy with scattered flurries in the early evening, low down to around 20 degrees. Going to be chilly. But for tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high 36, overnight low down to around 26. For Wednesday, cloudy with a 40% chance of snow, high near 35 degrees. The nighttime low will be about 27. And for Thursday, partly sunny with the high getting up to 39, low around 25. And then Friday, sunny and we crack the 40s, high of 41 degrees. On to Schuylkill County. Tonight, mostly cloudy, then becoming mostly clear toward daybreak with low down to 21 degrees. For Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high near 42, overnight low around 28. Then on Wednesday, cloudy with about a 50% chance of snow, a high near 33 degrees, overnight low around 27. And for Thursday, mostly cloudy with a high of 36, a low of 26. And Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 42 degrees.
SSPTV Sports on News 13. With Fred Barletta Jr. and Ron Marchetti.
If you count all of the varsity sports at Hazleton Area High School from the fall season and the winter sports season, it totals 17 different sports. Going into this weekend, none of them had ever won a district championship this season. It looked like, could this be a year where there wouldn't be a district championship from beginning to end of the school year? Well, all doubts put aside this weekend because the girls' swim team, Lady Cougars, went up to the District 2 AAA meet, and they just simply put on a performance for the ages. They dominated from beginning to end, and they walked away as repeat district champions. Our Mike Madry was up at Wilkes-Barre. He covered it. Hope he didn't get wet.
District swimming finals at the CYC. The Hazleton Cougars looking to compete against 4 teams from the area. They looked good throughout the night. Cougars would get in on the action right away, and in the 100-yard freestyle, Shelby Sanko, the top of her heat, finished second in the overall 100-yard freestyle poll with a time of 56.04 seconds. Her teammate Pony Matrone finished 5th overall. Here's Sanko after the race.
I'm happy with second. I thought I did everything I could. and I swam as hard as I possibly could, so I'm happy.
First action on the guy side of things, 100-yard freestyle, Hazleton's Jeff Hicks finishing his heat strong. He would place second overall, coming in at 50.08 seconds.
Yeah, before the race, I was a little nervous. I knew Eddie was going to be really fast, and along with everyone else, but I knew I had to do my best and get second place.
500-meter freestyle marked the longest race of the night. To compete in an event like this, you better have a decent amount of stamina, and one person who did was Alex Podolesny. She not only finished first in her heat, she placed first overall.
Well, it was a long race, so I knew I had to pace myself. And during the race, I was really nervous because she had a faster seat time than I did, but I managed to kick it up.
Boys 500-meter freestyle, and Hazleton would crack the top 5 once again. This time it's Troy Valkuski finishing third overall with a time of 5 minutes and exactly 6 seconds. Valkuski on what it takes to accomplish a 500-meter race.
At practice, we do many distance yards and just swim a lot of laps and continuously do that to try and build up our stamina.
This next event was a lot quicker. Girls 100-yard backstroke, and Hazleton's girls team was very strong tonight. This time it's Morgan O'Hara coming in second overall. Her time 1 minute 4.23 seconds. Here was an ecstatic O'Hara after the race.
I'm absolutely very happy with my race. My goal time was a 1:02, but I came in second, so I'm happy with that. And I'm just so excited.
Next on the agenda, boys 100-yard backstroke, and history would be made. It's Hazleton's Ryan Paisley flying away with the record, finishing with a time of 52.68 seconds. He obviously clinches first with the record breaker.
It's unbelievable, especially a district record. Billy Roll had the record for such a long time, and he was so great in his era, and it's just so cool to be able to break a record like that.
The next significant event for Hazleton was the 400-yard freestyle relay. The girls, they had a huge win in this event, not coming in first, but coming in second with a time of 3 minutes 45.42 seconds. That could qualify them for the win. Speaking of wins, it was the boys relay team capturing first on the guys side of things with a 3 minute 15.20 second finish.
The guys team, they have so many fast people. I feel if they had a couple more, it'd be really good.
Definitely one of the more louder environments here at the Wyoming Valley CYC. Now, despite all of that, the Cougars were very successful. The women's team finishes first, and the boys team finishes third. Delaware Valley, your winner for boys. In Wilkes-Barre, I'm Mike Madry for News 13 Sports.
Now, let's go to the scoreboard. Some other things that went on over the weekend. The Ball State Cardinals get a big win over Toledo. You see right there, they put up a ton of points and just ran away. Meanwhile, American Hockey League, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pens edged Albany 2-1. They will be off till later on in the week, but the Pens, well, they've been playing pretty good defense. Still looking to get the offense high-flying gear, but we'll wait and see. Speaking of having it cranked up, the Orioles did yesterday. Wind was blowing out at Sarasota, to be honest, but didn't matter. They bombed the Phillies yesterday, 12-3. Russ Kanzler didn't start. He did get a pinch hit. He was 0 for 1. The Orioles are off today.
Welcome to Trivia Traits. This is March 4th. And on this day, 40 years ago in 1973, New York Yankees pitchers Mike Kekich and Fritz Peterson made headlines when they revealed that they had traded wives during the previous offseason. The two had been teammates since 1969. Kekich's children had moved to live with Peterson and their mother, and vice versa. Mother of God. For the most part, the public found nothing humorous in wife swapping. Kekich and Peterson were roundly booed. The tension in the clubhouse will ease when Kekich was traded to the Indians in June of 1973. Peterson would marry the former Suzanne Kekich in 1974, but the relationship between Kekich and Peterson's former wife Marilyn will not last. 31 years ago tomorrow, in 1982, number 1 ranked North Carolina held the ball over 7 minutes to defeat Virginia 47-45 In the championship game of the ACC basketball tournament, the Tar Heels led 44-43 with 7:34 remaining and did not attempt a shot for the next 7 minutes and 16 seconds. With 28 seconds left, North Carolina's Matt Doherty was fouled and converted 1 of 2 shots. The Cavaliers turned the ball over on their next possession. North Carolina will go on to win the national championship. The NCAA adopted a 45-second shot clock for all men's games beginning with the 1985-86 season. The time would be reduced to 35 seconds for the 1993-94 campaign and still remains intact. Finally and locally, going back to 1958, 45 years ago, on this very night, McAdoo drubbed St. Gabriel's 80-58 to earn the right to meet MMI for the second half crown of the Anthracite League. The Maroons knocked off the Peppers at the HHS gym, which set up the championship game on the following night. McAdoo, the second half winner, defeated MMI, the first half winner, 75-66 at Hazleton High's gym at 9th and Wyoming in Hazleton. To wrap up the 1958 Anthracite League Championship, their second in a row and 7th overall. Jerry Perdocia had 29 for the Maroons and John Yano had 27. G. Cox was high for MMI with 26. Walt Schleif was at 18 and Tom Sharkey contributed 15 for the Peppers. Make it a good week. Till Friday. Be a good sport and stay loose.
Finally tonight, can you spell bullionist? How about prevaricate? Oh, well, a young lady from Schuylkill County sure can. As Stephanie Gorney tells us, she won the 58th annual Spelling Bee sponsored by the Republican Herald and is heading to the finals in Washington.
Bullionist. B-U-L-L-I-O-N-I-S-T. Bullionist.
Colleen Reed was crowned the new Spelling Bee Queen this past Saturday at the 58th Annual Regional Spelling Bee. She competed in last year's Spelling Bee and only made it to the 4th round, so this year Colleen did not expect to win at all.
Really happy and impressed with myself that I didn't think I would win.
Although Colleen did not believe that she could win, her teachers have been studying with her for the past couple months and knew that she could do it.
The last 2 weeks, the girls were giving up their lunches and studying on their lunches, so they were working really hard to prepare for this. But Colleen, she really was spelling words that we didn't even work on, so she did an excellent job. There couldn't be a better student to win the Spelling Bee than Colleen.
Colleen will now be going to Washington, D.C. in May to compete in the National Spelling Bee, where students from all over the country will meet. Her father cannot wait to see her on the stage in Washington and continue this memorable moment.
Almost like crying. I'm so proud of her. It's going to be unexplainable. Just thinking about winning this, it's overwhelming. Going to D.C., you'll have to interview me then.
Colleen is the first student from St. Clair to win the Regional Bee since 1975. Stephanie Gorney, News 13, Schuylkill County.
Congratulations, Colleen. Good job. Well, that's News 13 for your Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. You can catch this newscast again with rebroadcasts throughout tonight, or just go to News 13's website anytime, SSPTV.com, where you'll always find the local and regional news you need and the community news you want. For the entire News 13 team, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kathy Wazinski. Have a great night.